If you're new to Raleigh, I'm here to tell you that there's been a lot of changes in the last 10 to 15 years to the landscape of Raleigh, the businesses that are here, some for the good, some for the not so good. And today we're going to be talking about the really popular staple businesses in Raleigh that might be a thing of the past in the not too distant future. We're right across from the Holiday Inn, and believe it or not, this is the tallest building in Raleigh until 1977. But what's unique about the Holiday Inn is it's a round hotel, so that's unique. And people used to say that the top revolved like it was on a motorboat. That was a myth. It never revolved. But it is round, and it is going to be torn down. And I'm getting ready to show you a business that was started in 1855. And it's been in its current location since 1916. And that's the News and Observer. This is the NNO right here. It's an entire city block. So McClatchy that bought the paper realized that they were probably better off selling the land in this building and moving their operations to a more cost-effective area, since they didn't have to be in the middle of downtown. And this is really almost a whole city block. So this will be a significant development. I think there's going to be a couple towers that are going to replace the News and Observer building and more. This will have a dramatic effect on downtown. This next business we'll talk about is the Berkeley Cafe. And the Berkeley Cafe is Raleigh's oldest live music venue. And we just heard today that business is in jeopardy. They're staying in their location for now, but it's been rezoned. So probably not going to be in this location too much longer, honestly. That's some bad news for music lovers. So I'm getting ready to show you another place that's not for sale, but I'm sure they're getting offers. This one I really like. It's called the Lincoln Theater. A place that gets great musical acts. And while, you know, depending upon how old you are, you may not be into listening to live music, but you want to have these venues, you want to be able to go out, you want to be able to hear these up and coming bands and have fun. And without places like this, where are you going to do it? I want to show you an area on Fayetteville Street where people own buildings here that have a lot of historical significance. See that building, Boyle and Pierce? Those are some of the historical buildings. They're saying, if we keep the facade intact, can we put a 40-story tower above our buildings? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Is that a good idea, or is that going to destroy the look and feel of Raleigh to lose buildings like that? That's honestly one of the oldest hotels, the Sir Walter Hotel. The old Snoopy's right here, and just down from it, Char Grill. And as simple as these businesses look, the land has become really valuable because it's commercial property and they can put towers on this land. So Snoopy sold their land a couple years ago. From what I heard, there was so much construction in the area that their business had to shut down quite often because the water was out or the power was out. So they just couldn't maintain operations. So they sold, and the entity that bought it has essentially got a placeholder business there for now until they're able to sell that and get the price that they want for the property. Char Grill's been around since 1959 in Raleigh, and this is the original location. Snoopy started on Hillsborough Street in 1970. They've been a part of this community for a long time. So Roast Grill is a really unique place. I mean, you'd think this was a real dive, but it's got a lot of character. This business has been around since 1940. Here it comes up right here. It's right here on the right. So we're at West and Hillsborough Street. And that is the Roast Grill. Really cool place where you can sit at the counter. I think you get a bottled Coke, those little tiny bottles. and have a couple hot dogs that are roasted right on the grill. Cooked to order. Not a lot to cook in a hot dog, but it's pretty cool, nostalgic. It's been there since 1940. Players Retreat, which is really on Oberlin Road at Hillsborough Street. Super cool spot. I would say it's pretty iconic. Been in business since 1951. So the next business we're going to check out is Reader's Corner. And Reader's Corner is not for sale right now. Irv Coates owns it. It's a great bookshop. Highly, highly recommend it. It's located right here in this area that we're in right now. And as you can see, both sides of the street are completely built up. So this is Reader's Corner right here. Really cool bookshop. Check that out before it's gone. Alright, this next one's going to seem a little crazy. There's an Arby's right here that I'm going to pull into that had a marquee sign that they've taken down, and they cut it up. You can see right there where the sign used to be, and that was really like a landmark sign. Dorton Arena at one time, it was an architectural feat. If you go to the fair, they'll have stuff in the Dorton Arena. Really cool architectural marvel that's part of Raleigh's past. So if you're from Raleigh, then chances are you've eaten at Krispy Kreme. And this is a business that's been around since 1937, but it's been in Raleigh in this location since 1970. In 2018, they sold the land. Long story short, they leased back this property for 20 years. And so that was in 2018. So 2038, I believe, that lease comes up. So this property will probably be significantly more valuable in 2038. We'll just have to see if Krispy Kreme's still around. Logan's a couple years ago sold the land its business sits on, and Logan's is a really incredible nursery inside the Beltline in downtown in the Seaboard District. And Logan's Seaboard, by the way, used to be the train station, so it's a very historic building. But Logan sold the land, and they did a 2-year lease back, I believe, and so they will have to move this business in less than 2 years, I believe. So they'll be finding a new location, and I believe they've just reached a consensus with the community or whatever about what they can put here. But people were just really having a fit because this old train station building has a lot of historical significance to people. But when the owners bought this property, they wanted to make sure it wasn't like on a historic register or anything like that, and it wasn't. This is really a craze that's all happened in the last 20 years where people have really started to appreciate the neighborhoods and the businesses or the structures of when Raleigh really had its growth spurt and came to be. And now they don't want to lose that. So they try to protect these buildings, but at the same time, that protection comes at a cost because the owner of the building can't really unlock the full value of their real estate. So real estate always works on the highest and best use principle, which means sometimes there's a better use for the real estate than to have a garden shop. Sometimes there's a better use for the real estate than to have a restaurant from a financial perspective. And financial perspective is good for the owner, but it's not always good for the community. And so we have a lot of residential mixed-use developments that are occurring here in Raleigh. And while that sounds great, and it's neat to see all these things coming up, all the businesses that become tenants in these buildings or these new developments all start at much higher cost points. So they're going to be much more expensive, and their chance of them surviving is dramatically less than a business that's already got a building that's paid for, or if it isn't paid for, what they owe on it is a fraction of what it costs today. So that's kind of the good and the bad of the development that's going on here, in my opinion.